Ladies and gentlemen, the event will be starting in a moment. Please make your way to the performance area. No food and drink are allowed in the performance area. Thank you.
Yes, welcome to At America. We are the U.S. Embassy's American Center. First and foremost, please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Ara, and I'll be the EGOT for today's very special event titled AlumniAS Big Ten Alumni Unite. And before we start, we have a social media quiz for our online audience. And the question is, during the 2021 and 2022 academic year, how many students from Indonesia were studying in the US? Is it A, 10,500 students, B, 8,003 students, or C, 5,700 students, or D, 9,000 students? You can submit your answer on our social media platforms, and for those of you who can answer correctly, you will receive a live shout-out by the end of this event. And to lead and also navigate our discussion for tonight, we are already joined by our very wonderful moderator. He is the president of Wisconsin Alumni. Please welcome Jemmy Chayadi.
All right. Okay, thank you so much everyone for coming. It's really an exciting night just to be here, just to see everyone here in the stage, and some of you joining online. Thank you so much for joining. So before I start, I want to introduce myself. My name is Jemmy Chayadi. So I'm serving as the president of the Wisconsin Alumni Association's Indonesia chapter. I've been serving since 2016. So it's been a while. But I'm very happy to serve. And I think looking at the, I mean, it's just great. I mean, the last time we meaning Big Ten, Indonesia Big Ten Alumni, had an event at America that was probably before COVID. So it's really, really great to be back here at America. Yeah. Thank you so much at America for hosting us. And hopefully after this, yeah, we will do, we as, again, Big Ten, Indonesia Big Ten Alumni, will do more event here, yeah? All right, so before I start, I would like to invite our panelists to join me in this in the stage. Johnwei, Johannes, and Yeni, please join me. Yeah, round of applause. So it's gonna be chill and relaxed, because really this is really an event about a Big Ten family. So today what we do is, like, again, as I mentioned, we haven't done any Indonesia Big Ten alumni since maybe COVID, since before COVID. So we've been trying to find like an excuse of actually having an event. So tonight is really about two things. It's about introduction of the Big Ten. Yeah, I mean, probably a lot of our, I mean, even schools, alumni, they are from the Big Ten conference, might not know what Big Ten is. And also an update of what Indonesia, and the latest update from the Indonesia Big Ten alumni. And also welcoming our 4 new members to the Big Ten conference. So this is really a great opportunity to do an event and to welcome the new members as well. So maybe before we start, so maybe some of you here have maybe never heard about Big Ten before. Maybe please raise your hands. Maybe this is your first time. It's like, all right, see, there's a few hands up there. It's like, what is Big Ten? Yeah. So maybe you will probably know what is that? The Big Ben, maybe, then the Big Ten, right? But also, like, for some of you who already heard about Big Ten before, maybe where did you hear it for the first time? Any volunteers? Where did you hear Big Ten for the first time? Yeah. USC buddies. Very active. All right. So even the USC knows Big Ten. But USC before it was Pac-10. Pac-12, yeah, okay. All right, wow, okay. Who else? Who have heard about Big Ten before? Yes? College football. College football, yes. So you must be a college football fans, right? Yep. So yeah, I mean, for a few of us, I mean, some of us who love college football will know what Big Ten is, because college football is huge in Big Ten, and I think in some of the conferences as well. So again, so I just wanna, before we go and start, I want to know who the audience who know what Big Ten is. I see a few don't know what Big Ten is. So hopefully after tonight, I mean, all of you will get out from here knowing what Big Ten is. And again, we are part of this Big Ten family, right? Okay, so I would like to start from my first panelist. He's an old, like an old good friend of mine, not old. So his name is Johnwei. He's an ex-president of Buckeyes Indonesia, part of the Big Ten, and now serving as the Vice Secretary General of ALUMNAS. So go ahead, Johnwei.
Okay, you mind if I stand up?
Go ahead.
Okay. Hello. Good evening, everyone. How you doing? Hello? Can you hear me? Cool. My job today, Jemmy assigned me to do some introduction of Big Ten. So before I start, let us quickly view the video that used to be the Game of Thrones video, if you will. So let's quickly go through that video, very quick, very brief, and then I'll talk a bit about Big Ten overall, the kind of background and insight. Please go ahead. Thank you. That was brief. Okay. So, let me give you some insight and background of what is Big Ten, which you may or may not aware of, and give you some fun facts as well. Okay. Big Ten was established some 130 years ago, 1895 to be exact. The purpose of setting up Big Ten back in the day was to regulate the college inter-school athletic conferences. Okay, back in the day, those universities were all situated in Midwest and northeastern part of United States of America. Okay, those schools were Michigan, Indiana, Wisconsin. Correct me later on. I try to memorize all this. I lost now. Illinois, Ohio State, Michigan State, Nebraska, Illinois, Minnesota, Iowa, Maryland, Rutgers, Penn State, and Northwestern. 14th University. Am I correct? Purdue. Oh, my apology. Davida, you join us online? Apology, I missed Purdue. So 14 University back in the day. All right? So established 1895 because of the inter-college regulating the athletic conferences. Okay? Now, some fun facts. Combined university, till today, combined all those universities, have educated more than 500,000 students. And currently, there are more than 6 million alumni worldwide. So essentially, it's truly a powerhouse, an influential force to be reckoned with. Not to mention the network of very much those tremendous people from all walks of life. Basically, it's very influentials. We talk about global, right? Now, in US, Big Ten also expanding to the West Coast. Now, the 14 university welcoming 4 new members, right? University of Washington, USC, UCLA, and University of Oregon. I'm pretty sure Jemmy will talk about that later as part of this event. I'm not going to go through that, right? So now Big Ten Indonesia Alliance, I think we formed back in 2018 or 19, that kind of range. 17. My apology. Getting old these days, man. But we have collaborated a lot. We have done a lot of activities together. Powerful one too. Now, mind you, combined Big Ten Indonesia alliances, I think, correct me again, we are at least 5,000 people strong combined in this country. Okay, so in essence, it's another force to be reckoned with. Tremendous people, tremendous network with all walks of life. Okay, so with that, later on, I think Jemmy will have a lot of things to introduce. Also, our friend will introduce more all those activities of Big Ten. I hope my brief introduction of Big Ten is pretty much give you some insight on that. Okay, that would it from now. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Johnwei. So before we go, thank you for the introduction on the Big Ten. There's a long history. I mean, you can read it in Wikipedia. I think Johnwei managed to shrink it to 5 minutes. It's a long history. I mean, not only like collegiate athletics, like sports, like football, basketball, and so on, but also in academics as well. Yeah, and I think Big Ten schools are we're proud of schools with good academics as well. So there's also a lot of the academics collaborations between the Big Ten schools. So I actually want to know more about our audience. So I asked about who knows Big Tens, who might have heard this for the first time, and so on. But I'd like to know our audience from which alumni, from which Big Ten schools, okay? So I'll start with, I will start with Wisconsin. So who are in the audience are from Wisconsin? All right, yes, I see some Badgers here. Okay, thank you. All right, yes. And then who are from the Ohio State? Ohio State University. Yeah, Buckeyes. I see some Buckeyes. And then can I see some from Indiana? Who's yours? Yes. All right. And then Michigan, Wolverines. Okay, and Henry, I think is Henry, yes. Okay, yes. And then anyone from Purdue? Boilermakers? All right, yes, thank you. Zaid, yeah? Yeah. And anyone from UIUC? Urbana-Champaign? Yes. I'm actually wondering, like, what is the name of the mascot now? Because it used to be Fighting Illini or something, right? It's still? Because there was like I think I read it was like Kingfisher or something. I don't know. No, okay, all right. So I might be wrong. All right. Anyone from Michigan State? Spartans? Any Spartans here? Okay. All right. So no Spartans. Anyone from Nebraska? The Huskers? All right. No? Okay. Anybody from Penn State? Penn State, see all these schools. All right, cool. I see Penn State's the Lions, right? Nittany Lions. All right. Northwestern. Yes, thank you for coming. Wildcats. Okay. And then Iowa. Anyone from Iowa? There's actually a lot of Indonesians who go to University of Iowa. Okay. So the Hawks. Hawks, yeah. Anyone from Maryland? University of Maryland. Alumni from Maryland. The Terrapins. I know someone used to work here, graduated from Maryland, yeah? Anybody from Minnesota? The Gophers. Okay. And then Rutgers. Okay, all right. So we're missing some people here. And then for the four new members, Anyone from Washington? Yeah, all right. Good raps. Okay. And then how about the Ducks? Oregon Ducks? Yeah, Hari. And then UCLA, Bruins. Okay, wow, thank you. All right. Woo. And then last but not least, USC. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So again, we are all here. I mean, who? Okay, who else have I not called? Maybe from other schools? No. Capoleona. Okay, but they're not Big Tens. But you're welcome here. So, but these are all the schools, 18 schools now joining basically part of the Big Ten family. So just really imagine how, I mean, the potentials. These are all big schools, like really heavyweight schools. So again, thank you so much for coming, welcoming everyone, the new members as well. I really appreciate it. So I just want to bridge that into Johannes, who will share a bit of what Indonesia Big Ten Alumni is and what we have done so far. So go ahead, Johannes.
Okay, thank you, Jemmy. Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Johannes. I'm here acting as the Vice President of Yayasan Alumni, Indiana University in Indonesia. Okay, you heard about Jemmy and Johnwei explaining about what Big Ten is, but you might be wondering as to what we are doing as Big Ten alumni in Indonesia. That's what I'm going to discuss tonight. Okay, next. Can I get the clicker, please? All right. Okay, so I mentioned earlier that we started the Big Ten Alliance in Indonesia in 2017. This is actually our very first event, which is a single to mingle, right? So our first event is a single to mingle. So we are not just about business and networking, but even something that's more casual.
That's why I'm not included.
But yeah, so if you try to find me, I'm not there because I'm not single, obviously. Okay, so it's back in May 2017. I think there are only 5 of us, right? Ohio and...
I could not recall, definitely I'm not qualified, right?
Yeah, I think there were 5 of us, right?
Michigan, Indiana,
Purdue, I think.
Yeah.
So this happened in 2017. I think attended more than 50 young people, young alumni, yeah. So that's that, and next, this is the Big Ten Thanksgiving. Also, I think quite a lot of people attended. This happened in November 2017. So if you see, it's mostly networking, so we get together. I think we had turkey or something like that, I think. Yeah. Okay, and next, yeah, this is Johnwei's favorite, right? Ohio State versus Wisconsin. Nonton bareng, right? The Big Ten, this is the final, right?
It's the Big Ten championship.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, so we also have the nonton bareng.
No casualty, right?
No bareng, yeah. I'm looking forward to Ohio State versus Michigan. Okay,
or even Ohio State versus USC. I think USC they are ready, you know.
We have quite a lot of USC alums there. Okay. Okay, next, we are regularly invited to U.S. Embassy events. This is these 2 events are from two different events. Yeah, this is in the U.S. Ambassador's residence in Suropati, in Taman Suropati. It's a iftar, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it's a buka puasa bersama. Yeah, so we are regularly invited in the U.S. Embassy events, and we are constantly in touch with U.S. Embassy and at America also for future events. Education USA as well. Okay, this is our Indonesian Cultural Caravan. I think this was led by Henry, right? This event. This was basically a cultural event. We were working together with Kementerian Pariwisata and what? Yeah, and Kemenlu. So we sent a cultural caravan from Sekolah Bogoraya to the Midwest to perform gamelan and dance in the Midwest schools. I think if you see on the left, It's one of the performances done here at America. And this is in the University of Michigan in October 2019. I think was attended by the ambassador of Indonesia as well. So these are the students from Sekolah Bogoraya posing in the Chicago skyline, if you can see. So these are some of the things that we've been doing. Okay, then after that, COVID-19 hit, so we did some COVID-19 initiatives. We did fundraising among our Big Ten network. And then the proceed, we spend it on, like that, medical supply and vitamins, supplements, and we send to hospitals and those in need for those supplies. This is our latest project with Big Ten Network, which is called Big Works. You can see from the title, we try to bring Big Ten talents. As Johnwei has said, Big Ten itself in Indonesia has more than 5,000 members, 5,000 alums. So we try to bring the Big Ten talents to Indonesia to match with our current Big Ten employer, right? Okay, you see on the left, those are the Johnwei and Jemmy signing the MOU. And this is one of our first events because that was COVID, so everything was done online. Unfortunately, but yeah. So meet your future employers, and you see some of the big name of companies participating in the Big Works. Okay, so I think that's about it that we've been doing as a Big Ten family.
All right. Thank you, Johannes.
You're welcome.
All right. Yes. So as you know that, as you can see that Indonesia Big Ten Alumni, even though we started from the single to mingle kind of relaxed events, but we really capture a variety of like activities and other things that we do, cultural, like supporting during COVID. I think COVID it was interesting because I remember we had a discussion about like when we first created this Indonesia Big Ten Alumni. I think we had that discussion. It was like, oh yeah, maybe we are getting ourselves ready. Say, for example, there is a crisis or a big crisis, then we can join forces and kind of like help together, collaborate and raise funds and help together. This was back way before COVID. So, and then, but we didn't do, but at that time, we were just doing cultural caravan. We were just doing like networking events and so on. But then COVID hit, and truly, the things that we have already prepared back in 2017 to 2020, before COVID, is really proven because it's not only just, when I say my family, is really, we are really very close. Yeah, the first members of the Big Ten, because we had done so many collaborations and worked together in various activities. So when COVID happens, so when we raise funds, when we collaborate, for example, with our partner, Dr. Sher, and all that, it was very easy. It was very easy for us to talk to our alumni. Like for example, I will communicate with our alumni in Wisconsin, Johnwei with Ohio State, and so on. It's easy for us to raise funds and to actually combine all these resources together because we have done many of these before. So it's not something new. So for us, that effort was very effective. And I think we managed to collect more than 800 million or something. Just because of what? Because we were thinking like, oh yeah, if Wisconsin did it alone, we might not be able to reach to that stature, that level. But because we do it together, I think the impact is greater. And then the more, in this case, more we can do to actually help and to actually support. So it's just an example. There are many other examples, but thank you, Johannes, for sharing that. And again, very excited to have 4 new members because we have 14 members. Now we have 4 new members, and they are all very heavyweights. So imagine like we had 800 million, for example, with during COVID. The next events with these 4 new members, I think at least we're gonna do double, yeah? No pressure, UCLA, USC, and Oregon and Washington. So now, before I go to Yeni, and as Yeni from UIN, yeah, from Washington Alumni is gonna share from her perspective. I actually wanna invite maybe like the other 3 members in the audience. I like to have this interactive in the audience, especially as a moderator. So I would like to invite Pahari from Oregon, maybe just to share a bit about like what you think about, because maybe you've heard this event right now, right? I mean, how do you see what you are doing now as a Oregon, University of Oregon, and then how do you see that like kind of like goes into joining this Big Ten alumni? I mean, as a family, as this community.
Thank you, Jimmy. First of all, I'd like to thank the Big Ten alumni family for inviting us, the 4 new members. We're just the new kids on the block, right? So coming back to your question, I mean, it's I think the theme of the event, I think it signifies the spirit of where we want to go forward, right? I mean, it shows that we have a chance to collaborate and also to have shared experiences and also to support one another, learn from one another. I think that's something that is a very strong initiative that you've taken as a conference. And we, as the member of the conference, the new members, I think hopefully we can contribute positively and collectively, have success as a conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Pahari. All right, thank you so much. And I also like to invite someone from UCLA. I think it's Lisbeth. Is Lisbeth here? Oh, there you go. Maybe if you want to share a bit about UCLA and maybe like, yeah, just what do you feel about joining Big Ten?
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting us to the Big Ten. We're definitely very, very excited to be a part of this very welcoming Big Ten family. And we'll definitely look forward to like having a lot more collaborations with inter-university and like other schools. Because, I mean, we've been doing like our own events basically, and we definitely would like to do more in our part in helping the US community in Indonesia as well. So yeah, we're definitely excited, and thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Lisbeth. And from USC, is David here? Larry, oh, okay. Oh, yeah, of course. The one with the USC jacket. We will not miss it. Go ahead, Larry. So what do you think about, like, maybe just tell a bit about USC alumni, and
Hey
then
guys.
what do you think about, how do you feel about joining the Big Ten? Yes.
USC? Hey guys, my name is Larry. I'm actually part of a USCI committee, and I'm representing USC. I think it's a great idea that we're part of Big Ten now, because I think Big Ten is a more advanced conference for us, and it's a better exposure for West Coast schools to be in it. And we just won against LSU, by the way. Did anybody watch that? Yeah, I think USC. Now, finally, USC have D, as in defense. You know, we're always focusing on offense. Now we're focusing on defense. Because y'all Big Ten players are heavy hitters, so we got to get ready for it, right?
All right.
Yeah, so I think, yeah, we really appreciate the hospitality. I think Big Ten is going to be a great family for us, and it's going to be an amazing year.
All right. Cool. Thank you, Larry. So yeah, we definitely look forward for more game watches, because we didn't do a lot of them like in the past. So I think I would expect having USC, Oregon, Washington, and UCLA. I mean, there's going to be a lot of football games and basketball game watches together. So that's something that we will have to do more. So thank you so much for sharing. And then I will go to Yeni. Maybe you want to share a bit about UAIN. And also, again, just like how you see Washington UAIN alumni, Washington Alumni Indonesia joining the Big Ten alumni.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Yeni, and I'm currently the president of UAIN, University of Washington Alumni Indonesia. First of all, yeah, we'd like to say thank you for the Big Ten families to welcome us here. Honestly speaking, I really don't know about Big Ten much, from very beginning, because I don't watch any kind of sports. But yeah, after, listening from all of the Big Ten families, I think it's really exciting. So over here, I'm just gonna like briefly explain or kind of like introduce ourselves. Who are we as a UN? So basically, UN started it. I think it was like 2016 formally, and then it kind of like grows into. I think right now we have around almost 2,000 alumni in Indonesia. Every years we have like 5 to 6 events previously, but just gonna show like these 2 big events that we had before. So last year, we have this called Converge Jakarta 2023. The reason why I want to showcase this is because we have been like doing a lot of collaborations, so I kind of feel like this is kind of like falling into the same theme. So Converge is a huge event for us, and then we are hosting in Indonesia last year. We collaborate between all of the UDOP alumni around the world. So there's around 8 countries that participated. So we have guests coming from all over the countries. And then, let me try the clicker. Okay. Oh, there you go. So yeah, this is kind of like more. We have the event in Jakarta and also in Bali. Yeah, it was really fun event for us because we got to host the event last year. This year we had it in Hong Kong, and then next year we're gonna have it in Japan. Yeah, it's a good collaboration just between the UDOP community or alumni. And then the next big one that we did is the Overseas Alumni Networking for Singles. Yeah, we also do, a lot of us are still looking for, the right person. So we did this, and then why this is interesting is because I think this is the one of the first event that we had collaborated outside of the UDOP alumni family. So we collaborate with a lot of universities here, and not just the U.S. universities. We collaborate with Canada, China, and Indiana. Yeah, everybody's basically. And then this is one of the first collaboration that we had with other schools alumni, and then it was a huge success, I would say, because I think we participated to have maybe just like 100 people signing up, but it turns out to blow up to like I think 400 people signed up for this event. But due to the venue that we didn't anticipate it for the volume, so we can only host for around 300 people. And yeah, so this is kind of like one of the big event that we saw, and then it's really nice to see how many how big the alumni in Indonesia is, and how interesting events kind of like captures people. So that is why we are very interested when the first time Jemmy talked to me about collaborating and then welcoming to the Big Ten, because like that's also kind of like my theme as a president. This year and next year we want to just focus on collaborations, because the previous events that were like successful are all based on collaborating, right? So we kind of like want to welcome all the other schools. Perhaps we can do like more events together, not just like Nobar, or maybe we can do our own sports event here, right? Playing tournaments against each other and stuff like that, right? And then perhaps like another single to mingle event. Yeah, because like my thought is that if we do like one huge event together, the impact will be bigger, right? Instead of like each of us like doing individual events, especially like with the single to mingle, event. The reason is because after we did the event, I think I heard like there are other single to mingle events, smaller versions of it. But the thing is like the community is almost the same. So instead of like doing a lot of like multiples where we meet up with the same person again, I think it might as well make it like one huge one. Right. So yeah, that's kind of like just where we're at right now. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Yeni. Yes. And I really like this quote here. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So since we have, we have 14 members in the Big Ten before. Now we have 4 new members. And I think what we aiming also is still the same. I mean, we really want to establish a good foundations. I mean, each of us from the own club perspective, we are, sometimes we are quite busy with our own clubs, right? I mean, sometimes we, for example, like you mentioned, like, oh, we will have to do event of a single to mingle event our own. We will have to maybe do our student stand-off on our own. Student stand-off might not be, it might be more focused on the club. But then like more kind of like networking or social events, instead of like really doing it on our own, actually there's a lot of, I think it opens up opportunity to work together, to collaborate, to have a bigger event together, so that because by building these foundations, we will actually can do it more times, like every year or something, or every other year, so that we can go far, go together. So I think this is really the essence of collaborations, is that we want to, of course, we want to serve our alumni in each of our clubs, but at the same time, we can do that better. We can actually do that, I think, have a bigger impact by having these collaborations. And I think this is something that we want in the Indonesia Big Ten Alumni. So I think maybe I'd like to maybe go for a Q&A. I will ask questions, and then after that, I will open to any questions from the audience. But I'll probably gonna ask from Johnwei first. So John, like we've been basically like kind of like starting this Indonesia Big Ten Alumni from the beginning, and then really go through this journey together in that sense. Like, so how, just maybe sharing to new members here. There's a lot of new friends, new members here. Most of us probably met for the first time. So how do you, maybe can you share a bit like about that experience of like starting this Indonesia Big Ten, how we go through, and kind of like maybe the expectation, not expectation, but sharing what you feel, how you feel about this community of Big Ten. Yeah.
Well, thank you for the questions. I think I missed out just now when I said we started out 18 or 19, right? Now, I know now the reason, because 17 single to mingle are not qualified. So that's not registered in my mind. But the good news is you guys continuing that, right? So I will send my daughter to join, okay, when she is in town, okay? But anyway, I think this is a collaboration I think is very effective. Can you imagine, I think you missed out a bit, Johannes, if I may add, during COVID, I think from 2020 to 21, we have done at least 6 to 7 webinars. All right, it just so happened that we didn't show that just now, but we did 6 to 7 webinars, and each webinar, the attendance will be about 200 plus. There's one we kind of like figured out we have too many people to register. Remember, there's one midnight discussion we had. So that's the kind of power and leverage that we can do together. Imagine all online, right? So the bigger impact, if we can do it offline, if we collaborate together, is even more impactful. And mind you also, it so happened today, I am also serving as the Vice Secretary General of ALUMNAS. ALUMNAS is here to bridge and help all of us to collaborate. So each university, our role is just to bridge all of us. So I think if ALUMNAS can also be involved and help amongst us in Big Ten, I think the impact will be even bigger. My only suggestion is please get more involved. Please get the younger generations to get involved too. And also at the same time, we as a organization, we ought to think about more activities that relates more to younger people, which is why I'm so happy the single mingle is still there. Just except that I'm not qualified, okay? But just to add on that, I think my suggestion is to keep doing this. It's very impactful, not to mention, it so happened that I'm an entrepreneur, right? If you start to build your network and put your time right, eventually you will open up a lot of doors, with the right people and the right network. And this kind of network, I always said that this is an automation of vetting. So people that in this network automatically have some vetting process already, right? I'm not saying, it's 100% clear, but at least once you are in the network, it's a lot easier for us to be open up and get the trust level higher. That will be my few cents.
All right, thank you, Johnwei. So I really think that, I mean, yeah, it is. It's, I mean, hopefully by having more members, obviously we'll open up more collaborations, right? I mean, more opportunities for collaboration. Like for example, I mean, I would expect we will have more Game Watch, for example. Just that as an example. We'll see about that, okay? But I think the other thing that I also want to ask Johannes here is that each of this club, 18 clubs, they have different strengths. And then, for example, just take Wisconsin as an example. I would say that we might have the best practice in terms of doing a student send-off. So we do student send-off every year in July, where we get all the new students and going to Madison for that fall semester, and we collect them. We can basically gather them together. We connect them with Permias. We connect them with the young alumni, and then we also have a parents group connecting, and the parents will go together. And so by the time the students arrive in Madison, they are really, I mean, a lot of things that we already been prepared. So when they get to Madison, they're more, I would say, they are more prepared to start the school, to start their life in the new city. So this type of like experience of best practice is something that we can share. It's something that instead of like all these schools will have to think of how to do this student send-off, we are sharing how we do it. And we have shared how we have done our student send-off in Wisconsin. So this is just an example. I would like to invite Johannes, for example, like I think you are from the Indiana University, you have Yayasan, yeah? So not all of the clubs actually is in the format or in the form of Yayasan as a foundations. So maybe if you can share a bit like why you choose to be Yayasan, and how that is something that is, there's maybe like some of the essence of best practice from that. And I know there's a lot of them. Like, I mean, we are still learning from Indiana in terms of like the structure and so on. But please share a bit of that. And then maybe the other clubs can see that, oh, okay, you know what? If I eventually want to build a Yayasan as a club, I can learn from Indiana. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Jemmy. Okay, in Indiana, we started our Yayasan in 2016. We made a Yayasan because our president back then, Sulaiman Leong, thought that it would be best to have a Yayasan in order for us to engage with several institutions, let's say government, something like that. It's better to have Yayasan. And also, that's the plus side. And also the minus side is having a Yayasan is quite tedious process, yeah, because you have to have a working committee, and if you know that these are all pro bono, right, of job. So we are doing this because we love our alumni association. So we have a working committee, and right now, like Jemmy said, you have the strength in send-off, student send-off. In Indiana, we did from future alumni to current alumni, which is I think the foundation for big works, right? I think you learned that from Indiana. So we try to connect current students with employers who are Indiana alumni. And we've been doing that since, if I remember correctly, I think 2017. So, and it's been very good because we did quite a lot of placement every year. So something like that.
Yeah, and I think you also have like a very strong ASEAN kind of like relationship as well.
We do
with
have the Indiana University ASEAN Gateway in Bangkok, and it's headed by one person from IU. So he comes to Jakarta, to Indonesia from time to time, and we do Thanksgiving events, we do alumni gatherings.
Yeah. So yeah, it's really amazing. I mean, that's why I was always telling Dhiny, the president of the Yayasan Indiana Alumni in Indonesia, it's like, wow, you have a very amazing structure. I mean, in Wisconsin, there is no. I mean, we don't have that structure in the sense. I mean, because again, what Johannes was saying, we are pro bono volunteers. So like, for example, oh, we have an event tomorrow, then whoever is available, then we'll just do it, and then kind of like support one another. But in Indiana, I think is very structured, and I think Ohio State as well, Buckeyes Indonesia are having this structure, and I think is something that we can learn. I mean, we can learn from those best practices. We don't have to reinvent the wheels. And again, this is not part of, it's not in the sense like collaborations, like working together, but by having this community of Indonesia Big Ten alumni, it's easier for us to connect with other schools within the Big Ten schools and say, hey, you know what? I like to learn how you form that yayasan. And I like to learn how you do a student standoff. I like to learn how Washington is doing Converge, because that's something that is amazing. I don't know how to do it. But that's something that I think there's a lot of these best practices that are available as part of the resources for the Big Ten alumni. Yeah, sure. You want to add?
I just want to add a bit. I think you start with Yayasan, right? Ohio State, we started out with Perkumpulan. Okay, I think it's a bit different, but basically aiming the same result. And as you mentioned, all of us are pro bono, right? You just, all voluntary. So I think the number one challenge is, every now and then, bahasa Indonesia, lu lagi. There's a few usual suspects that doing that, right? And typically, those involved are basically in a much senior position or in terms of age, because at that age they have more balance, right? But I really want to shout out and call out all this younger generation too, if you will. If you want to learn leaderships, this type of organizations truly train you to become a good leader. You know why? Because you get to get work done through people without even paying them. All right? I mean, in my companies, it's easy for me to get things done because I just, just go through the structure, right? But if you involve in an organization like that, a lot of work, to be honest with you, okay? A lot of work. So I want to call out to the younger generations, if you will, really spend time to start help out your own alumni club. Because if you want to learn true leadership, this is the place. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Johnwei, for adding to that. It's really true. Not only that, but you get to learn in terms of like the leadership skills, like managing, like teamwork and so on. But at the same time, now we're talking about networks. I mean, in the past, for example, like when I can speak on behalf of Wisconsin alumni. So usually when a Badger come home, I would say, oh yeah, you are connected to all the Badgers family, right? You are connected to all the Badgers alumni. Say for example, oh yeah, I like to meet someone in the FMCG, for example. Oh, okay, we'll help them to connect with the FMCG industry or companies, and then so that they can learn, maybe find a job there. So now we enlarge that networks. So that's what happened with the big works. So I think Johannes mentioned about the big works. That was the idea, is to actually, because a lot, like from Wisconsin, we will have like some of the alumni who are probably well established. They have their company, or they hold the positions quite senior in the companies. So it's easier to connect, right? And then to see like, hey, these are good talents from good schools. So I mean, if they can work in good companies, why not? So these are the ideas. But then we get that bigger, not only from the Wisconsin employers, but also from the Big Ten. So imagine now with the UCLA, USC, Oregon, and Washington, I mean, even the pool of talents and of course the pool of networks is much bigger. And this is something that we don't know. We used to do big works, and I think after COVID, we kind of like, we don't really do as much. We kind of stop. But maybe that's also something that we can also do more. Maybe do a job fair just for the Big Ten school, for example, or invite alumni from a specific industry from the Big Ten to talk or things like that. So we can do. We did that in the big works, and I think there's something that we can also continue to do. Yeah. So before I go to the audience, I'll go to Yeni. I mean, this is maybe a bit difficult questions because I really like about Converge, and I think we should learn about that best practices, and maybe if possible, we will be able to expand that in our own clubs. But looking at this Big Ten alumni, all these different clubs, what are the things that you feel like, you know what, there's something that I'm still not lacking, but maybe one of the things to develop or to improve, maybe a weakness in that sense, that maybe we can learn more. What will be that? And I mean, that's something that maybe you can learn from other schools here, or maybe that's something that, you know what, I need to know how, like what Johnwei say, getting that young people involved and then active in alumni, and then maybe learning from UCLA. Maybe there's a lot of young people from UCLA. See, alumni from UCLA. Oh, maybe we should learn from UCLA. Something like that. Maybe what do you think that something that is still lacking in UAN, and something that maybe we can you can learn from other clubs?
All right. Yeah, I think there's definitely room for improvement and things that we can learn from other schools, especially like when I heard about how you guys are doing send off. I think UW or like UAN, we don't really do that often because the university itself kind of like directly do their own send off. So that kind of like more of like a family tight gathering, where you even know like the students' parents and stuff like that. We don't have that. I think because I kind of feel like UAN right now, or growing up, is more too big of a yayasan, or I mean too big of a alumni association. So we don't really know everybody yet, and then also kind of like a bit more formal because we are more often doing a lot of like business seminars, right? And then like politics seminars and stuff like that. Heavy speakers, heavy topics, and then so yeah, that's one of the reason why we want to like started doing more casual or social events like single networking or perhaps like send off, and then also I think some of us already started it like doing the nobar bareng, with the sports and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it's just try to kind of like expand it more into that family and friendship kind of like culture.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Yeni. There's something that I can share for sure, how to do a student send-off. But for us, we need to learn from you. How do you get all that ministers to come? And how do you get all these BCA and all these companies to actually sponsor? Wow.
Yeah, I think we got lucky because like we have a lot of people that are well connected in our alumni, and then also our previous president Aldrin was also like really well connected with the government people, and and we also kind of like form well, I think we form something similar to the Ohio perkumpulan. So that's kind of like making it more formal in the sense that when we approach, government people, when we approach companies, right, they're more welcome that way too. But I guess I think overall it's kind of like our we just want to put a lot of more effort into all of the alumni members. So when they join our alumni, they get all of the benefit of like expanding networking.
Okay.
Stuff.
Cool. Yeah, thank you. There's a lot to learn. So So maybe I'll open the questions. Okay, Zaid, you have a questions? Yes, please help with the mic.
Thanks. Hey, really appreciated Zaid Alami from Purdue. And I'm not Indonesian, if you didn't guess. But I live here, and I'm just want to make a quick comment, which is it also really helps with the network for non-Indonesians that are coming to live in Indonesia, because that's how I met a lot of people and also did some hiring. But going back to your big works, really supportive of this. And I'm the president of Boeing Indonesia, and I'll issue you a challenge. If we get a big works this year, I'll have $1,000 from Boeing. So this is a challenge for you. Let's see if we can make it happen and hire some engineers in Indonesia.
Wow, okay. Thank you, Zaid, from Boeing. See, again, there's a challenge. Okay, who? So I think we should really take that challenge, and then we'll work on that. So thank you so much. Yes, the value is immediate. So anyone have any other questions? Please. Again, this is really. Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Ari.
Some takeaways, I think. I mean, we do also have our alumni association. We established ourselves in 2016. It's formally recognized by the university. We're just one, I think, 4 of international chapters recognized. So I think the experience we had is actually that there seems to be a class year cohorts within the alumni association, because the 80s generation, the 90s generation, the aughts generation, what's so called, they tend to flock together, right? And one of the ways we try to break those barriers, I think, is opening up some LinkedIn group, whatever, because that's more formal rather than having a WhatsApp group, with they having their own 80s, 90s, whatever. So maybe one of the ways we can actually start also, I think, have a Big Ten group in LinkedIn, and probably invite everybody who's a graduate from there. Just have a good database. I think that's something to start. With good data, I think we can start, think up of anything and inviting, all these graduates, right? So I think that's probably one of the things that I can probably contribute as of now, yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right, good idea. So the question now here, I mean, we have a lot of alumni here who are strong in creating database, because I'm sure that, I mean, some of the schools are very strong, and I think they might have their best practices, and some might have a very strong LinkedIn in their clubs, for example. But it's not. But what we're trying to do is like, okay, maybe who might have this strength that we can that maybe can also lead this initiative, because I think what we're trying to do is to be more effective and more efficient in terms of, instead of like kind of like repeating the same cycle, is we're trying to figure, okay, who has that strength and who can actually lead certain initiative. For example, with Converge, okay, then we can go to Washington, and Washington can share. For student sign-off, we can share. For Ohio State, maybe share something else. So these are the things that I would say, how do we define some of these strengths? Define the strengths, and then see whether we can learn from those strengths. And then, but thank you so much for the input. I think, yeah, because Big Ten, Yeni mentions, even UAN has 2,000, I think more than 5,000. Yeah, we should have at least good 10,000 just in the Big Ten. But like you said, the challenge is that how do we connect this all in the LinkedIn group, and then who's gonna get them all together? But we'll try to find ways. But thank you so much for the input. Yes. Anyone else? Inputs, feedbacks, questions? Yeah, go ahead.
I would like to talk to you at the end of the session.
Yeah.
About working for Boeing.
There you go. Maybe say instant. All right. See, this is really the power of Big Ten here. Yes. Thank you. So anyone else maybe have any inputs? What do you think about these sessions? Again, today's really about introductions about of Big Ten. I mean, a lot of the, I mean, there are a few of us here maybe never heard about Big Ten before. So hopefully after these sessions, you all know about what Big Ten is. Number two is really to know what Indonesia Big Ten have done so far. And number three is, okay, what we can do together, especially welcoming the 4 new members. I mean, obviously with 4 new members, 4 new schools, there are schools that are heavyweight schools. They are not you're not small schools. You guys are heavyweights. So I think the possibilities, the potentials are definitely vast and tremendous. So yeah, sure.
So I just kind of like, would like to take this opportunity to directly ask you guys, right? What kind of like next event, topics that you guys are looking forward to? Like, maybe you can just show hands. Who's looking forward to maybe like a job offering or like, what do you call that? Big work? Who's interested on like, having a big work event soon? Show of hands.
Big works.
Big works. All right.
Yeah.
How about like a sports event? Either like we do tournament or like nobar. Who's into the sports event? Ooh, okay, right. How about the single to mingle or like the relationship networking event? Nobody? Really? Oh, you guys are all taken? Are you guys all taken? It's different. Oh, gitu. Oh, okay, all right. Is there's any other topics that I haven't mentioned or we haven't been mentioned here that you guys are interested to see looking forward? Community service. That's great. Anything else? Yes? What is? Oh, community service too. Wow, okay, that's great. Anything else? Any other topics or like events that you guys are looking forward? All right, thank you so much for the input. We're probably gonna, yeah.
Let me ask you. I think just to share some experience at Bakais, Indo Bakais, or Ohio State, we call Ohio State Perkumpulan Indo Bakais. Back in the day when COVID was pretty much over, we did the first Tech Expo. So we showcase, because within our Indo Bakais, we have pretty cool tech startup with a tech CEO who had experience back in Columbus, Ohio, done some tech startup and exited and came back, and did their own startup, right? So we did a pretty cool tech expo, whereby we showcase 6 of our tech companies in a live audience, right? And we're so fortunate to have Pak Menteri open it for us, Menteri Kemenparekraftan Diguna open it for us too. Now, would that kind of event relates to all of the audience too? Anybody interested if we do, let's say, another Big Ten Tech Expo, for example, we invite all the tech startup from the Big Ten, do a get together, but showcase their products and show it to all of us, our community. Would that kind of event relates to the younger generations?
Just some ideas, because my husband was just being a speaker for the Indonesian Army, and they were just talking about cybersecurity. I'm just throwing it out there because he was just a speaker for that event just now. So
speaking on that, okay?
Yeah.
The current president of Ohio State University, Giffey, he's an expert in cybersecurity.
Okay, perfect.
All right, so there we go. We have one topic already, right? So I think Chief Giffey, would you take note, please? No, I think this is something that we need to hear from all the audience.
My husband is outside, so yeah.
Oh, okay. So I think something related to the cybersecurity and tech would speak to the younger generations and all of us, right? Can I hear a is yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay. But we'll take note on that. Thank you.
Wow, now we have all this. I think Ed America has to get ready, right? We'll have a lineup of events coming up soon. And we'll be, as I said, we'll be using more like this space and time with the Ed America. Actually, there are a couple of questions from the Instagram that maybe I'll throw to the panels. So one question's Rizky. His question is, what skills or knowledge from your American educations have been most valuable in your career? Anybody wants? Maybe something short. So what skills or knowledge from your American educations have been most valuable in your career? Anyone? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'll go first. One of the things that I learned from my US education, I think, is critical thinking. Yeah, it's not really a formal kind of skill, but I think it's more of a soft skill, yeah. It's so different from what I learned in high school. In the US, we are required to be critical in everything we do, right? We have debates, we have discussion, group project, that all require critical thinking. I think that's really helpful in the career. Yeah.
Thank you. You honest?
Yeah.
Anyone? Yeni?
I think for me would be more my communication skills. I am in the industrial engineering major. We don't do a lot of presentation, but you know, from the work experience, you know, and then classes, I actually used to work for Boeing too, back in 2000, 2000. I think it was like 2006. You know, used to work in Everett for about a year. Yeah, Washington Everett. Yeah, I think communications. I think is getting, you know, leadership also part of it. On how do you well communicate to people, you get the things done and stuff.
So he's already recruiting now. All right, John.
But for me, again, you know, it's all about exposures, right? You know, really exposures to a lot of different culture, open-mindedness, freedom of speech. I think I really learned that. It so happened because I started out my career as professionals, working for American company for quite some time before I turned entrepreneur. So I think those kind of values that I learned, you know, the critical thinking, exposures, and again, the way we try to see things differently and have the freedom to speak up, you know, because growing up in Indonesia, basically we don't have that, right? So I think that really helps a lot and elevate a lot of the way I communicate, the way I, you know, go through the process of professionals and later on building my businesses. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, John. And then there's another question from Laila, also from Instagram. What advice would you give to recent graduates or current students about navigating their career paths? Oh, it's all about career. So now it's like, what advice would you give to recent graduates or current students in college about navigating their career paths?
I think I want to speak to that because as we speak today, I'm speaking to the same thing to my daughters too, okay? So she just graduated 2 years ago and now going into the grad schools. We'll be graduating next year. I think the younger generation today, you have to go out and meet people. Because the young generation is so comfortable with their own world today. And they don't want to expand and go out their comfort zone to meet new people. And how do you step up on your comfort zone and be proactive and, you know, learn to meet the new people? Because I feel it for myself. My daughter, I mean, despite the fact I have pretty good network, right? I try to introduce her to a lot of different new avenues. She may not be able to grasp it right away, and there are some reluctancies on that. Okay, I'm not sure that applies to the younger generation today, but hopefully not. Hopefully it's, you know, it's only my daughter. Hopefully, but I kind of feel that this is a generation issue. So that will be my my suggestion. Really go out there and out of comfort zone, meet people, not only online. you know, face to face, offline, because the real world is offline too, you know. So that will be my strongest suggestion because that relates to me.
All right, thank you, John. You wanna?
Okay,
Johannes?
if I may add to Johnwei, my suggestion for current students is get to meet people, get to network, get to join Big Ten if you're from Big Ten schools or not.
There you go.
Yeah. So I think when you go to when you study, you have your friends, right? But when you go back to Indonesia, sooner or later they're gonna get married, they're gonna have family, right? And if you don't start meeting with people, connecting the dots, like here we are right now, then you will start, you know, you won't have too many connections, right? So, because in life, I believe connections are what really matter.
Okay, thank you, Johannes. And Yeni, you have any advice for the current students?
Yeah, I
the
think
graduates.
I don't know. I think my advice would be like a bit more unpopular, but I kind of feel like from my experience of like meeting up with all of the fresh graduate, a lot of the people I think it's kind of like generation kind of thing, but a lot of people jump right into starting their own businesses or like starting your own YouTube channel or become like influencers and stuff like that, which is of course is good thing, but I would definitely advise to get more experience first, because what I mean by experience is that get involved into communities, like organizations, or getting involved into working for corporates and stuff like that, because all of those experiences is something that you cannot gain after you started your business, and then those experiences are the one that will help you shape your businesses even better, because I'm also used to be a professional and then turn business owners, and I can see a lot of the benefits that I gain from starting up my own business comes from all of my professional works. So yeah, I think I definitely would advise fresh grad to gain experience first as much as possible.
Not rushing immediately to become an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah,
we
that's
talked
true.
about it just now, remember?
Yeah, that's true.
All right, thank you. So hopefully, good answers. Please give a round of applause. Hopefully that answers Rizky and Laila's questions. So I see that the time is already minus. That means. Okay, so before I close, I think we missed a video. The video of the
Big Ten Indonesia.
Big Ten, yeah, Indonesia.
Video. Yeah. Or we can play it later.
Oh, okay. All right. I got it. Sorry about that. So maybe if I can get help to show the video of the second video, and then after that, Johnwei will have an announcement. Thank you. So hopefully in the next Big Ten events, we will have USC, UCLA, Oregon, and Washington in the photos. All right. So before I close, I think John has the next event, the next Big Ten events. I think.
Next week. This is Buckeyes event, but Buckeyes is Big Ten, right? That means it's also a Big Ten event. We would like you guys to come here to have some fun. It's no talk, it's jamming session. Okay? Buckeyes will assemble Buckeyes band, yeah, Chief Giffy, right? We have band. We will sing along here. I think we'll play, what, 12, 14 songs in 2 sessions, okay? And it will be fun. Trust me, it will be fun. So please come and join us. Sing along with us. I think we will play all cross genre. All cross genre, okay? So if you guys can join us with this jam session next week, what time will start? 6:30 until 8:30. Okay, so please join us for the jam session and sing along with us with our live band. Buckeyes band, right? Thank you.
All right, thank you. Again, thank you so much everyone for coming until the next Big Ten events. All right, go Big Ten. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much everyone for joining our event for today. And thank you to our speakers and moderator as well for the very enlightening discussion. And earlier in this event, we had a social media quiz for our online audience. And the question was, during the 2021-2022 academic year, how many students from Indonesia were studying in the US? And the correct answer to that is B, 8,003 students. Shout out goes out to @Anizah Dewi from Instagram for answering the question correctly. For those of you who are interested in attending more events here in America, you can follow our social media platforms on Instagram, X, and also Facebook at @ATAmerica, and also visit our website at www.atamerica.or.id. Once again, thank you so much everyone for joining our event today. My name is Ara, and see you at the next America event. Thank you, everyone.